So then Bubba says to the guy, well, I don't know, but I'll try anything once. Oh, hey, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Good to see you, Bubba. Glad that you're here. Welcome, everybody. So this is a video is in response to a couple of things. Number one, there seems to be a little bit of miscommunication concerning tonight's schedule. There will be a lifeboat at 5 o'clock. Then Johnny will do Chase the Heat because he does that at 6. And then after that is going to be a members only live feed. The good news is just about everybody's a member. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Karen Starr, welcome to the lifeboat. Glad that you're here. So I have gotten more emails and messages. I love you too, Bubba. I'm glad you're here. This is perfect timing because since we've had this kind of explosion in growth here in the last month and a half, we've doubled our size, right? So it's been a really big growth spurt, and we're getting a bunch of views, and it's fun as hell, and we got a lot of new people. But the request that I'm getting more than anything else always has to do with prison stuff, and I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. Everybody kind of wants to hear about that. Here's the deal on that, right? Because number one, like, I'm not messed up. I'll talk about about prison. What I don't want to do is I don't want to turn it into one of those sort of glorified prison channels. You know, that happens from time to time. Hold on a second, people. Just trying to make sure that I have everything set up here correctly. All right, sorry. What I don't want to do is become one of those prison channels that comes on and talks every day about how people get stabbed and this and that. I mean, those things happen. Today I'm going to talk about something that's actually funny as hell. And then I'm going to answer a couple of questions at the same time of people that have reached out and asked me prison questions that I can work into this. So I'm going to be mixing a state and a federal prison system because the stories are relevant because of two different prison stays. But when I went to prison in the state, I was in the state of Nevada I ripped off a store for a tremendous amount of merchandise. I've been doing it for months and months on end, $2,000 and $3,000 a day for probably 6 to 8 months. It got really, really ugly, and the money that I had stolen from them started to really, really add up. And I took a plea deal at my arraignment, which is kind of unheard of, but I did it because the plea deal said that they couldn't bring civil action. They couldn't bring anything, and there was nobody there from their company. So they had to approve or not over the phone. Because basically what ended up happening is I didn't have to pay restitution, which was, I mean, you know, looking back, it doesn't make me a good person, but it sure as hell saved me a tremendous amount of money, high six figures. So any hoot, I got sent to the state facility. When you get to the state joint in Nevada, you go to what's called the fish tank. And the fish tank is 30 days at a bare minimum, 30 days of being locked in a cell. Basically, it's like being in the SMU. You get out 15 minutes every other day. And in that 15 minutes, you got to do your mail. You got to make a phone call if you're going to make it. You also have to shower. There are no showers in the cell. And this was in the dark ages of prison. So you would go in and there were 4 open showers up top and 4 open showers in the bottom. No curtains, no nothing. And which is, you know, if you're a modest fella, that's kind of uncomfortable. And what's worse is, no lie, in the fish tank, 2 of the prison guards were women. So there was a girl, they used to call her Buckshot Betty, because they are on a walkway above you, right? And they carry a shotgun. But she would literally make comments, you know, like she would comment on guys in the shower. It was a very uncomfortable situation. But that fish tank, it was a bizarre situation because you're coming from a county jail, and when you get to the state facility, you could smoke cigarettes then. So the second you get there, everybody, you know, they're trying to sell their soul for a cigarette. Most of the people had been in, you know, county jail anywhere from, you know, say 6 months to a year, waiting to go to jail, with, you know, going to trial and all of that stuff, waiting to go to prison. They're stuck in jail. So everybody wants tobacco, everybody wants everything, but you're stuck in a cell, right? And if your friend is 9 cells down, having a conversation with them is next to impossible. And people are yelling all day long. But this 30 days was really like summer camp for bad people. And I had a cellmate. We'll call him Jace. And Jace is hands down in the top 3 funniest individuals that ever lived. And they made such a game out of this. And most people really complain about the fish tank. We laughed for 30 days. The first thing you got to do when you get there is spin line. You literally have to take apart either a sock or a pair of boxer shorts or a sheet, a pillowcase, something that you can get string out of. And you're going to string the string out, and then you're going to spin it in one direction and fold it in half and then spin it in the opposite direction. What you're trying to do is make the thinnest, strongest line you can, unless by some strange quirk you happen to be in a prison that has dental floss, in which case you use that because it's indestructible. But the idea is you're going to make a car so that you can throw a weight 9 cells down and have your friend grab that, pull it in, and there'll be a little note tied to the string. They call it a kite. And the person will then unfold this kite and read it, and you guys can communicate back and forth. And if there's somebody on the tier that has drugs, or they're selling their pills, or whatever, and we were the first people there to get tobacco. I had money on my books at the county jail, and I hadn't had a chance to spend it. So I had about $90. And when it transferred over, I was the only inmate on the bus whose money transferred over. So my cellmate and I bought 2 really big bags of tobacco. It's like between the 2 of them, it's over a pound of roll your own tobacco. And every single person in the entire facility was trying to get their car to our cell so we could give them tobacco. And when you look at it, it looks like a pillowcase. And you're like, hell yeah, here, take some. You're putting them in envelopes and rolling cigarettes and doing whatever you got to do. Unfortunately, it starts to run out really quick, and you got to start coming up with good lies for why, or you're not getting off the bed. But there's a tradition of hazing people in jail when they first come in. And one of the things that people used to like to do, we had a guy named Brad who was like 3 cells down, and Jace would go, "Hey, Brad," and he'd yell back and he'd go, "Come to the door." Meaning what I got to say, I don't want to scream. I want to modulate my voice as low as possible. And from 3 doors over in a prison block, you can actually kind of lower your voice and still have the cat hear you. And he'd go, "Hey, no, sir, jump down, come to the door." And we had the tobacco, right? So he'd come over to the door and he'd go, Hey, what's up, Jace? And he'd go, "Nothing, man, just hoe checking." And if you've ever done time, everybody's heard this routine. It's something that convicts do. Like they're a pimp and they're pimping you out, just hoe checking, like you're coming through the neighborhood checking your hose. And Brad would get viciously pissed off and curse at him and jump back up on the rack. And Jace would wait like 20 minutes and go, "Hey, come to the door. Brad, seriously, come to the door." Bubba says, "Done that many times." The hoe check is a standard hazing, and it happens all the time in lockdowns. And I did half of the time that I spent in prison on lockdown. Bubba, I know, has done lockdown. And for people that just got here, if you're really new to the boat, Bubba and I know each other from the inside. A friend of Bubba's, actually, well, the outside, the very end of the. I ran into Bubba at a halfway house when we became good friends. Bubba was at the same prison yard I was at. Only he was in the soft part of the prison yard, which is really funny because the part of the prison yard I was in was really soft too, but his was even softer. He could have visitors. And I don't mean like people that came by, set up by the warden. No, Bubba would just have friends drive up and see him. Like that kind of lax security. Friends can just drive up and, drop off a 12 pack or whatever. These guys could go into town and get bottles of wine. They were living a different life than we were. A really different life than we were. But so the idea of being able to throw this car underneath the door and then fetch things in becomes one of the most important things in the world. If you flash forward to me doing time in the federal system, I did over 3 years. Jeffrey Canale, another dude. You really would think this is just like prison day here at the Lifeboat, but yeah, Jeffrey Canale, I know from the state system. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jeffrey's been hoe checked. So the art of fishing which is what they call it in the federal system. In the state system in Nevada, they call it Cadillacing. But you would build cars with little treble hooks on the front of them, with staples that you would pull out of magazines. You got to realize that when you're in prison, you got nothing. It's not like you could just go over to the utility drawer. Yes, Camp Snoopy. Yeah, Bubba did soft time. Bubba did really, really, really soft. And that's good. That's what you're supposed to do. As he says, as we call it, Camp Snoopy. Well, the funny thing is that the really hard FCI that you guys were there for a support of was also one of the softest prisons anywhere on the planet. Camp Reunion, right? Zippo, like this is that day. It really is. It's that day. And Alex can talk about dislocating my elbow. He would also have to admit that he never once, got to keep the belt, the heavyweight belt. When we were in the stage, we used to put mattresses down on the ground in the dungeon, in this cell block that we were in, and we would throw mattresses down on the ground and go back there and roll around and do jujitsu. And when we weren't doing it there, we would go down and do it at the gym. Really funny, quick story about that, because Alex will love this story. Jeffrey will love this story. There was a guy that came onto the prison yard, and everybody in the entire Nevada system talks about this guy because he is, it's the word I'm looking for. He's a chronic BSer is what he is. But this guy told everybody and their brother that he had a very, very illustrious career in MMA and in the very early days of MMA. And Jeffrey and I looked at each other and went, I don't remember his name from any of those. However, this cat really was, everybody in the system talks about him, and wait until he gets here. His name is Adam. I won't tell you his other name. His name is Adam. And he's actually a pretty nice guy, but I question the veracity of virtually everything this man says. But we were able to talk him into going down to the gym to do a little jujitsu, and he's famous for tapping out everybody, in the prison system. But nobody in the prison system does jujitsu, right? None of these people have ever had any training. They've never done anything. So it's really kind of a lopsided thing, and it makes him look like maybe he really was in that first UFC. But we went down there and we got we had cops in on it and everything else, letting us go in there and set up mats to tumble. And I'm not tooting my own horn here, but he did not win. And it was really epically funny because once again, this guy had been spinning really good yarns for a really long time. And not only did I tap him out, I did it with an armbar, and I did it pretty quick. It didn't take a whole long time. And Jeffrey and I got an awful lot of laughs out of that for a very long time. But I'll be really honest with you. There are times where prison's hysterically funny. There really are. There are some very funny things that happen in prison, even in the midst of really kind of twisted stuff. I know I've told this story before, but I saw a guy that got stuck to a cork board. I mean, it was pretty horrific, but the guy took a shot with somebody had stolen half of a pair of scissors that Balaki, good to see you. Half of a pair of scissors, the kind that they use, the people that are working on uniforms. I can't remember what that's called. Laundry. The guys in laundry use them, and they're like this long. They're really, really huge scissors. They're for cutting the bottom off of pants to hem things quickly, but they're really long scissors, and not the part that had the thumb in it, but the part that you'd put your 4 fingers in. These things had broken, and he got them out of something that's called the hot trash. The hot trash is where whatever they throw out, they don't want in the hands of an inmate. It goes into something called hot trash. However, inevitably, hot trash gets taken outside by an inmate, a trustee, right? Ain't no bootlicking trustee. Everybody at one time or another has probably been a bootlicking trustee. Maybe not bootlicking part, but we've all had to pull a trustee job or something like it. Hey, Wharton, good to see you. But these guys that go out and they steal stuff out of the hot trash, and it becomes a hustle. And you don't even want to hear some of the stuff they steal because it would turn your stomach. I'll tell you anyway. They steal cans of chewing tobacco spit, bottles of chewing tobacco spit. that cops spit into a bottle. And then they dry out all of that stuff in there and they roll it up into cigarettes. How bad do you want nicotine? If you're ready to smoke a little chewing tobacco that has been in the mouth of a police officer and then spat into but yeah, pretty foul, but they're very popular. A lot of people smoke those ghetto cigarettes. And I will sit here right now and tell you that I have never smoked a cigarette like that in my life. And then Bubba will come on and he'll tell you the same lie. And Jeffrey Canali will probably tell you the same lie as well. But everybody has smoked one of them. It's disgusting, but it is nicotine. Guards would let my brother out when he was at Okeechobee Juvie so they could practice tracking skills. We wondered how he knew the town so well when we took him out for the day on weekends. That's absolutely ridiculous. Now that's a good time. I never got any of those. I never had a chance to do any of that, that really soft stuff. But so anyway, this guy's got these prison shears and we were sitting around, we were watching television and, there's a guy on the channel who asks about snorting psych meds, talking about snorting Wellbutrin, and we were doing it that day. A bunch of us had been playing poker and we were snorting Wellbutrin. And in prison, you get a feeling, when something's about to happen. You know. Sometimes people warn you ahead of time if it's going to be, but you just know you'll be someplace and you just get that feeling like, oh boy. Something bad's about to happen. Well, we're sitting there and everybody's kind of looking around trying to figure out exactly where it's going to break off because you can tell everybody in the room is doing this one except one dude. And that one dude is on the telephone and he's talking to somebody and he's got his feet up and he hasn't got a care in the world. And everybody else in this room knows except him. And this guy runs basically across the room with this big, long shear in his hand. And he goes straight into the guy. And I think, honestly, that he was really probably trying to kill this dude. I think he was going for heart. But at the last minute, the guy kind of freaked out and saw what was happening. But he took it right here. And it went into him, out of him, and into the cork board behind him. And it's not a particularly pleasant thing, but there was they were trying to get this out and you couldn't pull it. Like he was embedded and he was screaming like there was no tomorrow. And the police came running up to lock everybody down. And this is one of those prison units that looks like an MC Escher painting. If you've done time, you know what I'm talking about. There are prison blocks come in a couple of different ways. And some of them, they stack the hell out of them to try to get as many cells in as they can. So as soon as you walk in, there's a couple of sets of stairs that go down to like a basement. And then there's two sets of stairs that come up to go to a first landing where televisions are. And then there's another tier and another tier. But the stairways are going in every possible direction. It looks like an MC Escher painting. So I'm at the very top tier. So almost eye level, all the television sets and everything else. And I live in the basement and I'm trying to go back and the cop goes, lock down. I said, man, I live on the first, in the basement. I live on the first floor. And he goes, no, just lock in there. And he put me in a cell with my best friend basically at the time. And a guy that I did a grip of drugs with, whatever he had. But we went into his cell and got high and watched them try to get this thing out of this guy's chest. And I mean, they're putting one foot on the wall and and trying to pull on it. And every time they do anything and move at all, this guy is not enjoying the process and letting everybody know by a very loud and shrill scream. And the funnier thing about this story, because it's not funny, but it is. Here's the deal. I'm sure that the guy had it coming because there was no retribution for it. So it probably means that somebody authorized it, because nobody got in any trouble. So, but the funniest part of this story was I married an attorney. And I was at like a dinner party kind of a thing, a cocktail / dinner party. And there was a guy who knew that I had been to prison and had recently gotten out, and nobody else really did. And I don't think my wife was, super enthused about saying, hey, this is my husband. He's a bank robber kind of a thing. So we're sitting there and the guy that knew probably for the purpose of making my wife uncomfortable, because lawyers are backstabby, bitey kind of people, said, hey, tell us the worst person story you can remember, the most violent or the funniest or whatever. And I said, well, I got one that's kind of a little bit of both. You know what I mean? And I said, it's violent, and I'm telling the story, and I'm sort of picking and eating while I'm doing it. And I started talking about it. I said, and the best part is, I said, they couldn't pull the knife out of this guy. And when I got to the end, the guy goes, well, that wasn't really violent. And I said, well, there was another time over at the when I was at the special management unit in Colorado, the second phase of it. I said, and I told the story of the guy who got stabbed. This guy was a person that had a SA, a crime against a child, and he had videoed it and recorded it, and basically was selling it on the internet. It's a bad dude, really, really a bad dude. And a guy got a shank, and I mean what we call inside a bone crusher, right? This is not a small piece of plastic or a little blade. Like this is a big piece of angle iron that was cut out of a bed and then sharpened, and they make a rope. They spin it the same way as they do that line, but they do it with much fatter string, and they continue to build it till it's bigger and bigger, and they wrap it around the handle. And when you look at it, these things look like a knife. I mean, if you saw one at a distance, you wouldn't realize that somebody made this in a cell. But when you're locked down 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, you can get really creative, making weapons and doing things like that. But this guy got stabbed about 5 or 6 times, and the guy that stabbed him was a pro, and he got hit. He hit multiple arteries on this guy, and he was going like this and walking in circles, and the blood was going out of the holes, like spraying in all directions. And the guy that I was cellmates with at the time, his name was Rick, and he goes, hey, get up, you got to see this. I said, what's going on? I was laying on the bed reading, and he goes, tell me this guy. It's right as I'm getting to the window. He goes, tell me this guy doesn't look like a sprinkler system. And I mean, the guy was in panic. And again, keep in mind, this is a guy that did bad things to little kids. So it makes it a little easier, because I know it's violent, but the guy's in a panic, and he's kind of like doing this one in circles. And every time he does, all it missed was that the cycle where it goes really fast if he had spun in circles a few times. But when I'm done telling the story, I look up, and every single person at this dinner party is like this. I mean, mouth wide open, just sort of halfway terrorized or traumatized by the story. And I remember looking at my wife like, oh, that didn't go so well. That wasn't really what I was looking for. So once again, peeps, let's go over this. And if it seems like I'm putting up a lot of content, it should be painfully obvious why. We are at the final run of the 2-year anniversary of the lifeboat. Today, according to the watch that I am wearing, today is the 28th, which means we've got 3 more days till the official 2-year anniversary of the lifeboat. Amazingly, we've actually hit all of the target goals. We're going to be setting the next 2 years targets goals out. I've been doing some calculations, figuring some things out, but we're setting the bar a little bit higher because of what we've been able to do in the previous couple of years. It's astounding that a channel that talks about sobriety as the backbone of what they do has got the number of people that we've got here and the amount of views and the watch hours. Oh, this is a good one. I think you'll get a kick out of this. If you were to turn the lifeboat on, right, and let it run continuously around the clock, the number of hours of lifeboat that has been watched would take you just under 4 years to watch. That's the amount of watch time in the first couple of years of people coming by and watching the lifeboat. So we're getting to a point right now where there really isn't any time during the day where somebody's not watching something on the boat, which is really exciting stuff. Not something, honestly. People say, "Did you think that that you'd hit 5,000?" We sure as hell wanted to, and it's the goal that we said we wanted to hit. But no, in all honesty, I didn't think that we would, and I didn't. I really didn't. I thought that this was a subject matter that was going to be very hard to deliver in any way that is entertaining. What I didn't count on was the crew. You know, that is what I didn't count on. I didn't count on a group of people that were going to show up here and make friends with every single person that wanders onto this boat. Nobody ever comes on here, puts their names up in the lifeboat, and then kind of goes, wow, now what? No, you come and you put your name up in the live chat, and the crew is going to dogpile on top of you to welcome you. And it's been that's kind of what we didn't count on, and I think that's been the element that that's had us hit $5,000 in 2 years. Make no mistake, by the way, there are people that hit $500,000 in 2 years, but usually it's stuff that's very trendy to trending, like the kind of stuff that, the videos you put up are going to go viral and you're going to get, 6 or 7 million views. Those are the kind of things. But for a slow build like we're doing, I could not be any happier than to be at 52.22. I think it was 52222 the last time I looked. Admittedly, that was a few hours ago. But what a shot in the arm my relationship with Aaron has been. And something really funny. I've said before, and Aaron and I have talked about it when the two of us were on his channel, but we have a mutual friend. We got a friend that both of us know. And I was telling, Aaron stories. And then it occurred to me, like it hit me like a ton of bricks. I've got I've told you guys, and some people have seen it over the years, right? I did one of the most successful direct response infomercials in history. I was a very large part of the storyboarding and the organizing and the putting together of said infomercial. And Aaron's best friend was in it. And I spaced that out for all of this time. But today I'm going to send Aaron I still have a hard copy of that infomercial, and I'm going to send it to Aaron, and he's going to die laughing. He's really going to get a kick out of it, because I think probably by the time he met our mutual friend, the guy was like completely white. He's got snow white hair. And when I knew the cat, he didn't, because I'm older than dirt, which I'm surprised you didn't know. Just recently, I actually achieved dirt status. But according to my children, my daughter simply refers to me as dirt these days. Isn't that nice? Because I'm apparently I'm of that age. So tonight at 5:00, there will be Lifeboat Live, just like we do every single day of the year, right? Lifeboat Live, 5:00. Then the bus is going to do what it does, and I'm not going to go live at the same time because half of my audience is on the bus, and I don't want to. But when the bus pulls into, where does the bus pull into? Port, the station, the bus stop. When the bus hits the bus stop, right? The next opportunity to depart. We're going to fire the boat back up, and we're going to go out. It is going to be members only. So if you've ever been thinking to yourself, maybe I ought to do that members thing, this will be a fun one, people, and it's going to be there's going to be a lot of audience participation, I'm hoping, and we are closing in rapidly on the 2-year anniversary. So we'll probably be doing something extreme. Greyhound Station. Yeah, Greyhound Station works. That's just bus station. Yeah, it's the bus station. Because think about it. I mean, for people who do drugs, most realize that when you roll into town, the bus station is the first stop of all people that do drugs, because it is the easiest place to find somebody standing outside selling dope. Looking forward to your next collab with Aaron. I enjoy watching you both learn new lingo. Greetings from South Wales, UK. That would be in Great Britain. Very, very cool. Welcome to the Lifeboat, Kelly. I am not going to mispronounce your last name, because as a rule of thumb, it's never a good idea to mispronounce last names that end in vowels. Know what I'm saying? Come across a couple of those guys, and So as a rule of thumb, honestly, I just try not to butcher names on the lifeboat. But it is great to see you here, Kelly, and I am very much looking forward to my next collab with Aaron. I've got I think there are some ideas that the two of us could work on. That there's some synergy there. I have high hopes for working with Aaron again in the future, and certainly I'll be over there after the sentencing, right? To be sure. Drug free and sober for almost 35 years, Yankee Kyle. I never get tired of hearing that, peeps. Never get tired of hearing that. That is a good long time, right? That's stretching your legs, right? That is stretching your legs. If you hit 35 years, peeps, that's living the dream, right? Good for you, man. Good for you. I love it. Good luck tomorrow, Scoob. That would be the interview tomorrow. Let's do one of these numbers right here, can we? Can we all just commit to good thoughts and prayers for Scoob? It's big, big time, big time, big time. I love this boat. Oh, it's today. It's even more important. Today at 3:00. Yeah, people, there's no messing around. Seriously, if you're a prayer, please say a prayer for her. If you're somebody that sends positive vibes, great. If you're somebody that says, I don't believe in any of that stuff, just think for a few seconds. Let her get that. Not going to hurt you. I promise. Not going to hurt you. Sort of funny. I'm talking to the new person named Kyle. Funny. That is funny. Ha! Katie Gill. Hey, from the UK. Sending love to all. You know what? We got a lot of people from the UK. We do. We have a lot of people from the UK. It's exciting. Hey, Shimmy. Dubawabi. Good to see you. Really good to see you. So, I have been repairing watches again. And it's, I'm back in the saddle, so to speak. And it's, there's a little rust, so to speak. I have been packaging and sending out watches, but doing repairs, I've been somewhat limited to the repairs that I've been doing. And now that I got to get done, it's there's a pub on every corner in the UK, says Kelly Gerling, and she is right. There literally is a pub on every corner, and it's such a part of life. You know, you go down to the local, and it's really. It can create a difficult habit to break because there's so much of the social aspect that is built into, you know, the pub or the local or whatever. So, but once you're committed, you know what I mean? The obstacles that get put in front of you, they're never insurmountable, ever, right? Once you put your mind to it, once you say that this is it, man, I'm all in. Shove every chip into the center of the table. At that point, there's really no messing around. At that point, you're going to make it work. There are going to be days that are hard, but there are decisions that will have to be made like, you know what? Not ready to go into a place like that. And it might be a year before I am. And then at year one, you might find that it's going to be 2 or 3 years before you do. And then by year 4, when you really are starting to get entrenched into your sobriety, you may just figure out that you don't really need to be in there anyway. Or, you know, you can go in there and handle it or whatever the case may be. But it's going to be different for every single person. But trust and believe there's nothing ever insurmountable. Hold on one second. It's really, how many watches do you have? I was a machinist for a long time and loved gears. How many watches do I have? Currently, in various stages, like watches that are ready to go that actually work and all of that, probably about 350, I would say. But there's probably another 150, maybe 100 that are in various stages of being repaired and restored and things like that. So I got a lot. There's a lot of them here. Part of my son's sobriety includes changing jobs. He's a beer salesman right now. Wow, that would be hard. That really would be difficult. Decent human beings are so hard to find. That is why I am here with all of you amazing peeps. I love it. What a cool thing to say, Jason. And you know what? There's something to that. In all honesty, there's something to that. You know, the internet is a place that draws like-minded individuals together. It is what we do. I have 3 watches, Captain. Not sure what they are. One is a fake Rolex, I was told. You can have them. You know what, Rick? You know what? If you send them out, I'll get them running and send them back to you. I mean, it's an interesting. And yeah, and how do you know the Rolex is fake for sure? Let's get it. But you know what? I'd be more than happy to take a look at it. Shoot me an email. I do look at a lot of them. In and out today, but had to stop by and say hello to the boat. Good to see you, Trish. You know, you literally said in and out, and my brain went right to the fast food place. And now I might be miserable if I don't get in and out today. See what you have done? That's all right. All right, people. So you know the rules. Tonight, there will be a boat at 5 o'clock, like there always is. That's not going to change anything. But there is going to be a members only boat ride taking off at 7 o'clock here on the west coast of the United States of America. To all of our friends overseas, if you miss it, you can always catch it on the replay, right, for all members. And it's going to kind of be wide open. Well, you'll see what it's going to be. All right. So hope everybody got that. And now the cat, she's a 1 show a day kitty. She, right now, she's really, really busy laying on the, every single surface of the floor surface in this house is like marble. It's like just big 18 by 18, pieces of stone. And the cat just sprawls out to get as much of her body onto the cool stone as possible because you let her outside for a few minutes and then it's all over. Ask for the special sauce. You betcha. I'm going in there and saying, I want a double animal style. Right. I'm a fan. I absolutely love their burgers. I think as far as fast food goes, they're pretty close to the top of the food chain. Love these shorts during the day. Well, you know what? I do too, Mel. They're fun. And especially this week, you know what I mean? We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. This is the 2-year anniversary of the lifeboat, and they said it wouldn't last. I especially, of all of my favorite people that and the favorite insults that were thrown at the boat by trolls in the first year, I'm going to spit out my favorite. My favorite was he's only going live to get the 4,000 hours. You watch, he'll never go live again. I don't think I've shot a video since then. We are a live channel, live on the 5s every day, 5 a.m., 5 p.m., 365 days a year. And we throw in a little other content on the side. We are coming up on 2 years, so we're going to be doing some fun stuff now through the 31st of July, which is also Sister Scoville's birthday. Would you believe that? True story. Always 4 weeks to the day after my birthday. We got Sister Scoville. All right, peeps, you have a fantastic day, and we will see all of you at, the normal time, and then right after you guys leave the bus station. We'll see you back on the boat. I'm Tommy. Have a great day. Bye-bye.